Hi guys, this is a new type of video I'm going to start doing on my channel now. I'm going to do a section of sort of top fives, as much as I can do them anyway, in between my normal regular sort of new reviews. I'd like to do some of the films that make me tick, and I'm going to do them in different genres, so you guys can really get to know what kind of films I really love and what make me into the movies and into the stuff that I'm into today. I really want you guys to give me comments so we can chat about this and really talk in depth about what kind of thing I love, and yeah, let's see what you guys think. So let's get down to it. Now, this is a hard list to do, but I've managed to get it down to my top five, so let's start, obviously, as we do, with number 5. Now, this is not a biggie, I don't know if many people know about it, but this is my number 5, and it is the movie Hot Rod. Stars Andy Samberg, Isla Fisher, Jorma Taccone, Bill Hader, Danny McBride, and it's directed by Akiva Schaffer, so that is all 3 members of The Lonely Island in this movie. And it is the story of Rod Kimball, a wannabe stuntman, who seems to think that his dad being best friends with Evel Knievel makes him some sort of stuntman, which is kind of weird. And always wears a moustache when he's about to do a stunt, and every stunt is a hilarious fail by Andy Samberg. It's absolutely brilliant. But when he finds out that his stepfather, played by Ian McShane, is ill and needs a surgery, he then tries to make the jump of his life to get the money to pay for his surgery. And of course, he goes through these ridiculous things to try and train for it, like he sort of drowns himself by thinking that going underwater for a minute will make him better at jumping, and he uses the spirit of the dolphin and all these weird animals he has above his head that make the spirits of him and things like that. And it's really funny because it's one of the first movies Andy Samberg did during his Saturday Night Live days, and it's made all these really small people like Bill Hader and Danny McBride these huge stars now. And I don't think the film did that well in the box office in the UK or in the US. It's a real surprise to me because the people that are in this film just absolutely own it, especially with scenes like drowning yourself in a swimming pool with the spirit of the dolphin. It's just ridiculous stuff going on. And, you know, I always have a standout person usually in my films, and I've done a review for you guys. And for me, it is the one and only, one of my favourite comedic actors, Bill Hader. He's brilliant. There's a scene where he gets like a piece of metal in his head, and he's just this random stoner dude who I can't remember off the top of my head, I think he works in like a bowling alley, and it's just he's just so funny and makes me absolutely die. Now guys, if you haven't seen this movie, just for the performances of Andy Samberg and Bill Hader in this ridiculous thing about a stunt man who thinks he might be related in some way to Evel Knievel, it's brilliant and a total underrated comedy in terms of, like, you know, some of the ones that are around these days. This thing never really made waves, and it has some of the best cast in it. If you've not seen it, then please guys, go and check it out, because it's a total underrated classic in my opinion. So, number 4. This this was kind of easy for me, this one. It's Tropic Thunder, directed and starring Ben Stiller, Jack Black and RDJ. This is a story of a movie within a movie that is in a movie. Yeah, I know. But yeah, the movie that they're parodying, the movie they're doing is called Tropic Thunder, which is, you know, what the whole thing is about, is the making of this movie that isn't a movie, but it is actually a movie. But it's come under some huge budget issues and some huge time constraints because the actors just can't get along with it. You know, I think Ben Stiller's character can't cry, and he's got these weird turkey hand things going on, and it's really funny. And so to get through that, the director, who's played by Steve Coogan, decides to put them in the shit, and he sends them down to Vietnam into this random like sort of area to see, you know, get some real bird's eye footage of these, you know, idiots doing what they've got to do. This film from the beginning is hilarious. There's some fake trailers with, you know, Scorcher 7, here we go again, and the one that always makes me laugh, which is Satan's Alley with Robert Downey Jr. and Tobey Maguire. just playing two gay priests. It's just so funny. And Jack Black in a film that you'd think would actually exist, with the Fatties series, it's like, you know, just him playing everyone, like the Eddie Murphy movies with Norbert and things like that. Just, you think that kind of stuff was already done, but you know, that those trailers are so funny and just shows what pretentious arses these guys are before you even step foot into the actual movie. You know, it's so funny. You know, there's all that sort of stuff affects the actual characters when they get into it. Jack Black's character's addicted to drugs or jelly beans, if you can believe him, a lot of the time. But again, there's a standout like there was in Hot Rod on number 5. It is RDJ, Robert Downey Jr. playing Kurt Lazarus, who had, you know, apparently pigment surgery to be black to play this character. But his actual character is an Australian guy. But he's like a method actor that gets way too into it, you know. I think it's a parody on like Shia LaBeouf and all these people that really do get into their roles. And he's just so good. I'm a dude playing another dude disguised as another dude. It's just all that, it's just all that weird stuff. All the one-liners come from him. It's just so good. And I know Ben Stiller's done a lot of directing, but this is his standout movie by far. So funny, even better than Zoolander, and I love that stuff. Number 3 is Yarp. It's Hot Fuzz. Hot Fuzz is directed by Edgar Wright, stars Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Dudes on the front. Tells the story of Sergeant Nicholas Angel, who's been moved over to the small town of Sanford and paired with his dim-witted partner Danny, played by Nick Frost. And it's all well and good when he gets there, but people start to disappear in this tiny little village, and Nicholas Angel has got a bit of a feeling about what's going on. And then when he finds it out, it ain't good. And he starts to figure out what's going on, and stuff starts to go bad. This is the film that they call in the trilogy that they call the Cornetto Flavors trilogy. You've got Shaun of the Dead. You've also got The World's End, but Hot Fuzz was bang in the middle of these two. But this one, for me personally, was always my favourite. I love The World's End. I love Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead is one of the funniest horror movies I've ever seen. But this one, and the main reason it's so good is because the chemistry between Simon Pegg and Nick Frost is so good. You know. So, Point Break or Bad Boys 2? Which one do you suggest? No? Which one do you want to watch first? Like, every line in it is just so, you know, not every line, but there's so many quotable things in that movie that make me die. It's such a genius plot about such a small little town that they're so good. The chemistry that they had with Edgar Wright making these 3 movies, you could tell the writing was just bang on. And so funny and so clever. You know, you've got so many good characters in there. A lot of them that Jim Broadbent as the main chief of police was also really good. And he's supposed to be this really dark dude who keeps a lot of secrets away, but ends up being the reason, you know, the main reason for most of this stuff. And do I have to even mention Timothy Dalton, for Christ's sake? The man's in it, he's hilarious, and you know, does a lot of funny puns, and really is quite dark. And you know, the manager of Summerfield. Would you put James Bond as the manager of Summerfield? Really? Well, Edgar Wright did, and that's why that's number 3 on the list. Number 2. Did someone call 911? Holy shit! That's right. It's The Other Guys. The Other Guys is directed by Adam McKay and stars Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell, and it's a story of 2 desk jockey cops who, after 2 of the best officers die on the job, they start to step up and figure out a giant case of corruption and deceit that Will Ferrell's character seems to think is just a scaffolding permit, and they just sort of go along with it because they're not actually that well respected, and it turns into this huge thing that seems to be at the base of Steve Coogan again. This is the second movie that he's in. This isn't a pattern, he's just in it, you know. who plays this huge investment banker that he owes so much money to, that they figure out, you know, he's doing all this weird stuff. So, for me, this one is so funny because, again, it's chemistry like the last one. Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell own it with each other on this one. Yeah, there's a hilarious scene with, like, Wahlberg thinking that if he was a lion, he would eat Will Ferrell as a salmon and all this weird stuff, and they're just like good cop, bad cop stuff with Steve Coogan's character, and it's just, they make me die in this movie. They're just so perfect in this film that I watch it again and again. Every time I'm bored, I watch it. It's so funny, but they do not, them two, their chemistry may be good, but they are not Samuel L. Jackson and Dwayne Johnson as Danson and Highsmith. You have the right to remain silent, but I want y'all to scream! Samuel Jackson, of course, doing awesome one-liners in this movie, and Dwayne Johnson's character randomly having a thing about Kim Kardashian and doing her and getting free stuff. And yeah, if you've seen this movie, you know the death scene is hilarious. Head for the bushes? Those guys are the main reason I watch this film. I mean, I got guys at work and we quote that part, just the Samuel L. Jackson part and the Dwayne Johnson part, because that is the pinnacle of comedy genius for those two. Dwayne Johnson is, as we know, brilliant at comedy roles at the moment. He's banging them out left, right and centre. And Samuel L. Jackson, but the two of them together are kick-ass, and that is the reason why that film is on my number 2 on the list. Number 1. My number 1 pick, and this is not a surprise to anyone who knows me, is Step Brothers. Yeah, there's a theme going on, and he's right there. It's Will Ferrell. Yeah. As I say, no one will be surprised if I pick that. I know that movie line by line is incredibly funny. The story is so simple. It's about two guys in their late 30s, early 40s, 39, 40, who live with their parents, and their parents eventually hook up at a convention, and then they move in together in the one house. And that's literally the story. Dale and Brennan getting together. Sorry. Dragon and Nighthawk getting together. You know, that's it. The whole movie just spans from them two just not getting along and then becoming friends. I'm going to put my nutsack on your drum set! It's their chemistry together. It's always make me laugh. And I've seen that film 1,000 times over, and it's still hilarious to this day. And that film came out in 2008, and I still find every line hilarious. There's a point where me and my friend used to watch it every week for like 4 months, and we still love it, and it was still hilarious. You know, it is the comedy that I will forever go to if I'm ever bored. Mary Steenburgen, who of course we know is in Back to the Future 3, another one of my favourites, plays the mother in this film, and Richard Jenkins, who plays the father, doing such an amazing job. Richard Jenkins is so funny. You know, that and the end scene where they sing and play the drums and shit and do Boats and Hoes. Everyone knows Boats and Hoes. What can I say? What more can I say about the best comedy movie in my opinion? It is Step Brothers. If you guys haven't seen it, I will question why, because this film is perfect in my eyes. It is a 5 out of 5 movie. If I was ever to rate it, if I was doing movie reviews back then in 2008, I would be reviewing it and it would get a perfect score, because this film, there is nothing wrong with it as far as I can tell, honestly. So, guys, that is my top 5. If you agree with me, or if you don't agree with me, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about my top 5. And yeah, we'll discuss it in the comments. I'd really love to know what you guys think about them. I really do love those movies. They are brilliant to me. They always make me laugh. If you guys like what I'm doing, then please like, subscribe, share like hell, please. And there will be more top 5s coming out in the future. As I say, they're all sub-genres, so there will be different genres that I will be doing for you guys later on. So if you do like it, please let me know, and I'll see you guys later.